Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Brickazoid's Den. Today we have another Saturday Owl House video coming up, and I just watched the episode "Them's the Breaks Kid," where basically Eda a goes through a story where she met Raine Whispers, which was a pretty good episode, honestly. I mean, it was good to get Eda backstory. It gave us a lot of even smaller details, which I'll get into in the breakdown of the episode. And also we learned about Rain Whispers, how Eda met them, and there was a pretty interesting ending scene as well that I wanted to take a look at. But I don't know, there was a lot of little things that were pretty interesting in this episode that are going to come into play maybe a little later in the season, but not a lot of main Emperor's Coven stuff, which is completely fine with me because all these little details do actually add up to some pretty interesting stuff. A lot of interesting things that could be used for future episodes of the show. Um, but yeah, like I said, overall it was a pretty good episode. I like these flashback backstory episodes for characters. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just kind of get right into it right now. So starting off with our opening here, recent episodes have been giving us some pretty quick openings. I mean, in this episode, the intro. No, wait, what is it? What would it be? The intro theme song, whatever. I don't know. I'm blanking on what it's called. Was actually shortened really to a really just that last scene because this episode there's a lot to cover in this one. So basically, in the opening to start off, Luz is going through Philip Woodabean's journal and she finds lots of glyph combos. I mean, there was a monster arm one, turning to stone one. I think there was a water one as well. So there's a lot of cool glyphs in there that were probably going to come into play way later in the season. And then basically Eda offers to tell Luz a story to take her mind off of her mother. And then that's basically the opening, but still, seeing all those glyph combos from Philip Woodabean's journal is very, very interesting, and I'd like to see how they're played later on in the season. But yeah, so she's definitely going to be using those, and it's going to be interesting to see if there's any more, because I know we've had the main ones from season one, and then there's the invisibility glyph, and now we have all these. I think it was 3 or 4 other ones here. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see some more glyph action, and yeah, now we'll go to the main plot of the episode here. Alrighty, so we have one just straight plot here, and basically we start off with young Eda and young Lilith are walking through Bonesborough, going to Hexside School, and we learn that this is 7 months before the Emperor's Coven tryouts, which means this is a fairly good amount of time before Eda gets cursed by Lilith, and Lilith joins or wins and joins the Emperor's Coven, basically. So that is very interesting to note. And Eda and Lilith then arrive at Hexside, and we see a young Odalia, Alidor, and Darius. Now, in the other episodes, Darius and Alidor are shown to really hate each other, basically. But now, or before, I should say, when they were at Hexside, they seem to be friends, which was interesting. So I wonder what happened there between both of them. Because again, it seems like they hate each other, but they used to be friends. So then we learn about Principal Faust, who looks super creepy, by the way. He has a messed up neck and has to keep changing his or moving his head. And he's really creepy looking. And he was the principal before Principal Bump was principal. I explained that terribly, but anyways, Principal Bump shows up and starts speaking real truth to Principal Faust about constantly expelling students because he has big problems with anything. If you chew too loudly, if your shoes are not squeaky enough, I think it was. But it was cool to see Principal Bump younger, and he would be in this episode he was Vice Principal Bump, so that was cool to see. Eda and Lilith sneak in to Hexside School without getting caught by Principal Faust. Well, actually, Eda and Lilith sneak in through Eda's secret doors, but only Lilith makes it. So I guess they do get caught by Principal Faust, or Eda gets caught by Principal Faust. Lilith makes it. Eda meets with Principal Faust, who says that she is going to be expelled. But in order to not get expelled, Eda must bring back a blue ribbon in order to not be expelled. So basically, the blue ribbons are symbols of accomplishment, I think, for the school. And Eda needs to bring one of those back because Principal Faust keeps expelling all the athletes and the students that do very well for very minor, stupid, dumb things. So now Eda must bring back a blue ribbon in order to actually stay in Hexside. So Vice Principal Bump and young Eda must wait in line for if what? I didn't catch what that actually stood for, but it's run by young Terra Snapdragon, who is younger in this episode, and apparently only the best of the best get a blue ribbon, as she said. Eda visits the trust fall tent where she has to perform a trust fall, but it kind of fails because it's like this gelatin guy who she just goes right through. And then she tries to play a prank where she's like her face got melted off, and then the whole thing didn't work. It didn't count. Didn't count. She didn't get a blue ribbon from that. So Eda is disappointed and is drinking this gross cup of liquid. I don't know what it was. Throws it on the ground, and it is caught by Raine Whispers. This is where Eda meets Raine, and then Raine uses their power, their bard power, to whisper into the cup, whistle into the cup, making it taste better. I don't know how that exactly. Oh no, she said she used like sound waves to change to the what the liquid actually is or something. I don't know, but it made it taste better. So Raine Whispers helps Eda to get a blue ribbon, and there's a montage of Raine and Eda succeeding at trials to win a blue ribbon. Raine is actually, yeah, I noticed this as well. When Eda throws a grudge ball, I think it was, at Raine, Raine is able to catch it and send it right back. So it seems like Raine was pretty good at grudge back in their day, which is interesting. And when they go and meet with Terra Snapdragon to get a blue ribbon, Terra Snapdragon says that she is disappointed by the boring challenges and decides on a challenge called Coven versus Wild, which is basically a tag game. And Eda is a Coven Witch and Raine is a Wild Witch, and they are against each other. So they basically get pins that state whether they are Coven or Wild, and now they have to basically fight each other, basically. So it's like tag, or like hide-and-seek tag with magic, so it gets dangerous, obviously. The other team members plan to work together to take out Raine and make Eda join along. Terra wants, after the whole thing ends, and Raine and Eda decide to, stay friends, like they're not actually going to capture each other. Terra gets annoyed, and Terra decides that she wants Raine and Eda to fight, but instead they actually attack Terra Snapdragon, who's delighted by it. Terra Snapdragon does not give out a blue ribbon at all this year, but sees Eda is a prodigy witch, and decides to put in a good word for Eda to Principal Faust, so that Eda is not expelled. But yeah, again, I want to go over this other point here. Terra Snapdragon sees Eda as a prodigy witch, which is interesting. I wonder, I don't remember if there was any other moments in the other previous episodes with Terra Snapdragon, if Eda actually made an interaction with Terra, because that was very interesting that I noticed that, like, Terra was surprised by Eda and saw Eda had much potential if Eda joined a coven, so that was interesting. I just wanted to note that as well. But anyways, Terra Snapdragon is going to be, like I said, going to give Principal Faust the good word, and Raine ends up going to Hexside School now. Raine was originally going to be going to it's like a rich school on the Boiling Isles. I forget, I didn't write it down. But anyways, Raine is now going to Hexside anyway, and Eda tries they sit down at lunch, and Eda tries Apple's blood for the first time because of Raine. That was a pretty cool, like, little detail that I noticed, which was pretty cool. And Terra Snapdragon, and then we kind of cut back to like the regular world. No more flashback and flashback here, and we go to Terra Snapdragon keeps making Raine Whispers drink tea that makes them forget, but it seems Raine has been playing the Emperor's Coven and Eda because they're fine, and just doesn't. They don't want Eda to get in trouble, basically. So, yeah, this is an interesting ending scene as we see, like I said, Raine is just sitting up on this balcony, and then Terra brings over some of the tea to make them forget, but Raine seems to be okay. Like, the tea isn't working on Raine because they are using the whistling magic, to change the actual liquid of the tea and make them not forget. So then a little abomination dude, kind of comes out of a brick and hands Raine a information on like how to stop something, and they need the owl lady, which is obviously Eda. And Raine declines it and says, "No way, we can't have Eda be involved in this. Eda needs to stay out," and just like doesn't want Eda to get in trouble, basically, which is good. But if you need Eda, who is clearly like really worried about Raine, you should have just told Eda what's going on. But I know if Eda is if Eda knows, Eda's going to try and help, and clearly Raine does not want that. So, either way, that was the interesting ending scene that I was talking about previously, and it definitely was interesting. So, we'll have to see what the future episodes look like with Raine, because now we know that Raine is not actually being mind controlled and is just kind of playing the Emperor's Coven and Eda, so that they can, fulfill their plan, whatever. So, overall, a lot actually did kind of happen in this episode. Got a lot of cool backstory on Eda and Raine as well. But I wanted to mention that next week's episode is Hollow Mind, which is an episode that I'm super, super excited for, because this seems to be the Belos backstory episode. We're getting basically two backstory episodes in one, which is incredible. I cannot wait for Hollow Mind next week. I feel like so many questions are going to be answered. I feel like there's going to be so much happening. And I feel like Hunter is going to learn so much as well. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. And then I also want to go over just like the quick little details of this episode just one more time, and just kind of talk about them a little bit, maybe a little bit more, just kind of go over them, because there was actually, like I said, a lot of little things that were pretty interesting to see. Lose with lots of glyph combos that are probably going to be used in later episodes. Then we have younger Odalia, Alidor, and Darius seem to all be friends, like a friend group there. Principal Faust was pretty creepy. Principal Bump was a vice principal at one point. Younger Terra Snapdragon from the past was running the help. Oh, what was it? Help to get or no, Coven know-how. I don't remember what the second word was, but helping. I don't know what it was, but Terra Snapdragon was running like this whole organization basically. Raine and Eda meet obviously, and then Raine has Eda try apple blood for the first time, and basically Eda likes the apple blood, which is pretty cool. And of course, that ending scene where Raine is shown to not be mind controlled at all and completely fine. Now, I have one little question here. One little question from this episode. I don't think Raine knew how to do abomination magic. I could be wrong. I mean, I think Raine could only really do bard magic, unlike Eda, who could do a lot of magic, but I don't think Raine could actually do any abomination magic. So where did this abomination, like little abomination character, come from? Because if it wasn't Raine, I mean, Darius is in the castle, but he's with the Emperor, and I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like a little abomination character in this brick, but he's living. So I think you would need to actually like actively have abomination magic to actually have this character like walking around. And again, it could be that Raine knows abomination magic, but I didn't think they did. I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to mention that because I don't think that's going to come into play later on. I don't think it is later on in other episodes, but I just kind of like a quick interesting thing that I noticed because I didn't actually remember or not if Raine knew how to do abomination magic. So that was another Saturday Owl House video. Of course, next week, like I said previously, is going to be Hollow Mind, which I am super excited for. Again, I feel like there's going to be so many theories, so many questions answered. But for now, we have Them's the Breaks Kids, Them's the Breaks Kid, and that was pretty alright. So if you enjoyed that video, do the common YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.